Hey, what's up? My name is Darko, and I'm here with Mr. Garrain Jones. Welcome,
What's
man.
up, brother?
How you doing, bro?
Man, we in Bali.
Yeah, right?
I'm great.
Yes. This man is amazing. We were just blessed with his presence for the last 4 days here in Bali at this event called Elevate. And Garrain shared with us his story. I mean, this guy has got a lot of depth to him. I mean, he's been incarcerated once. You can share that, right?
Yeah. Share anything you want. Like
Okay.
with me, there's everything is on limits.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's been through so much. And one thing that really I'm fascinated with about you is the concept of freedom, your concept of it.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about this, and he's done so many things, but I really want to open the interview with this because I feel like it's the most impactful piece of information someone can take. Is we walk around thinking that we're free, but you were in prison for 2 years, and you realized that you were free inside of prison.
While I was in prison, yeah.
So could you just elaborate on that?
So from 2003 to 2005, I was busted smuggling drugs for 6.2 kilos of heroin. You know, I just didn't have a great framework of life. And while I was in there, I was in prison for a year and I got sentenced till 2014. So I got a 12-year sentence. And I realized that when I was in there, that when I was actually free on the outside, I used to say, I feel like I'm so far away from where I'm supposed to be. I feel like I'm trapped, like I'm in prison inside of my own body. I used to say that to the point where I was far away from where I was supposed to be because I was in France, far away from where I was supposed to be, in prison. And I was like, wait, I put myself in here. But that didn't happen until, because once a month we were able to watch a movie, and the movie of the month was Shawshank Redemption. And, you know, a guy named Anthony Robbins, the lead in that movie, he said they can take everything they want away from me, but they can't take away my mind. And in that moment, I had a conscious, it was like my brain exploded, and I couldn't believe that, wow, I put myself in prison because I allowed society to take my mind. But while I was in prison, I was running, I was singing, I was dancing, I was doing art, I was doing everything that I loved that brought so much joy and happiness to me. And I realized that while I was in prison, I was actually free. I was a free man while I was in prison, regardless of my circumstance. So when the majority of my character was operating as a free person, out of nowhere, Jones, you're free to go home. Mind you, I had a 12-year sentence. But when I started acting like a free person, interesting how the universe had to conspire. And the drugs were just magically fake. They tested them 3 times, 6.2 kilos of heroin. But when I acted free, drugs are fake, you're free to go home.
And most people listening, they would think, yeah, well, that's just a coincidence. I mean, yeah, of course, like, it's a coincidence. You don't believe in that, right? Can you explain why you don't believe in coincidence?
Well, everything happens for you. You know, a lot of times things will happen to people. Why is all this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Playing the victim role. Victim role will never experience abundance in their entire life because they're coming from fear and lack. However, if you're coming from an abundant mindset and something happens to you, could you say thank you? Could you say thank you for making me better? Thank you for making me wiser. Thank you for making me stronger. Could you look at it from a different perspective? And that might lessen the blow.
Yeah.
So I've had so many different instances in my life where I was blaming the news, the weather, the president, the society. But when I took responsibility for my own actions, my own energy, my own attitude, and decided to choose positivity, to choose love, no matter what,
Yeah.
my life started to manifest according to the thoughts that I gave the most power to. And I got story after story after story, but most people weren't conditioned that way, so that's why it would seem different, seem hard to understand.
Yeah. So right now you're 40 years old.
I'm 40 years old, yeah.
And you've been successful for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
So why did it take you so long to finally figure out how to get successful?
Well, I wasn't aware. You can't change what you're not aware of. So you can just go in and out of consciousness and do this and be like, oh my God, I'm having such a great day. And then all of a sudden you have such a crap day the next day and not even realize that you're consciously at fault for everything. It's no one else. If you choose to take responsibility and look at it from a different framework, once I was responsible for everything in my life, I was also responsible for my success. And, I wasn't operating off of time. Most people's like, oh, I got to get this man because, I'm getting old, or I got to get this woman, or it's too late for me to be successful. Well, what's time? What really is that? They didn't have watches back in the day. Funny how there were way more inventions that were changing the world way back in the day, like electricity, airplanes, and things like that. Why is there less of them now? Maybe because people have shut off the capacity to be able to believe and put themselves out there and be distracted by technology and time and all these different things. But if you remove time, and you say you want something, it's yours. So if you move time, then you don't have anxiety waiting for things because it's going to come when it feels like you're ready for it. They don't put first graders in fifth grade for a reason. You got to be ready to go to the next grade. Even when you play video games, you've got to be ready to go to the next level. That's why you got to beat the dragon at the end of the round. You lose to the dragon, you stay on the same level. And that's why people constantly repeat life and patterns over and over and over because they keep failing to the same test. The test could be alcohol, could be drugs, could be chasing that man or that woman, could be the job that you don't like, your attitude, whatever the thing is that you give the most power to. You've given that thing outside of you power and gave away your power. And so because you gave away your power, you don't have the strength to pass any test.
Yeah. And do you think another reason why you weren't successful for 32 years?
Yeah.
Well, what success means is all subjective, right? But in your personal, what's it called?
Philosophy.
Definition of the word success.
Yeah.
Is that because you were constantly chasing out things outside of yourself instead of looking inward? You talk about having the key in our own pocket, but we don't realize it. So could you just elaborate on that?
So when I was a little kid, my version of success was what everybody else's was. They're like, oh, you get a big house, big cars, you have all the women and all this. So from a little kid, that's what I was going for. So when I got the cars, when I got the millions, when I got the houses, when I had the women, I would say, I feel like something's missing. It's like this ain't it. It's not it. Because I would have friends that were multi-millionaires, put a bullet into their brain, drinking alcohol, drinking their pain away to compensate from the love that they don't have within themselves. This came from them. And then put a bullet into their brain because they didn't want to be exposed to who they really were. So having seen that and been directly exposed to it, I had to go searching because I was like, this ain't my version of success. Because everybody that I think is successful ain't happy behind closed doors. So then I start searching, seeking the meaning of life and how can I just achieve peace all the time?
Yeah.
So the only kind of people that achieve peace has to have a certain kind of discipline on their life. There's a grace to their life. You see anybody in any sports, when you see and they make it look so graceful, it's because they've done it 10,000 more times than the next person. And because they're automatic, it just appears graceful in karate and martial arts and sports. So I went to work on my craft of understanding myself and becoming a better human and doing 10 times more than other people around me. And so when I achieved a certain level of peace and had the millions and tripled my income without forcing it, I was like, wow, this feels more natural. And because it felt more natural, I then could see how I could do this over a long period of time and not gain all this money and then lose it, and gain all this money and then lose it. The only reason why people lose the money is because they're not operating at that capacity that can hold for that level. They don't put first graders in fifth grade.
Yep.
You can only operate at the capacity that you're playing. So it was never about why did it take so long. I was just never aware. And then once I saw somebody operating and generating life that I could resonate with, peaceful, earning millions, like making a difference in the world, I was like, that's what I want. So I read the books that they read, I followed everything that they did on social media, and I just started applying myself the same way, and I was like, feel good about this. See a lot of my friends that was making more money than me. 2 of them had heart attacks. Another one had an ulcer. Your body cannot run faster than your soul operates, or it will come to a collision. That's where breakdown and crashing happens. You do not put a Volkswagen car, a Formula One sports car engine with a Volkswagen body. Your body's got to be conditioned according to your soul. And when both of them are aligned, you will be at peace. When they're not aligned, that's where the stress and all the crazy stuff starts happening, because you're not even in alignment with yourself. So your life will be a manifestation of how you're living your life.
So we've both met these people before that you speak about. You know, the people that are striving, chasing the money, chasing the trappings of success, if you will. And then all of a sudden they burn out, like you were saying. So,
and I've done that.
Yeah, you've done that before. So how do you then peel back the layers to reveal who you really are so you can be at peace? Because that's what you're talking about.
Well, maybe you gotta, once you're aware, so you can't be faulted for not being aware. But if you're aware and then you choose not to, like if you're aware the damage of what, if you know the damage of what maybe alcohol is doing to your lungs, and then still choose to do it and get sloppy drunk, when that doctor bill comes, you can't feel sorry for you because you willingly chose that. If you don't know, you don't know. So it's not just about alcohol. If you're like a thief, or if you're whatever it is, you're doing something that's not in alignment with your highest good. And you know you're at destruction of your life. So first there's awareness. When you have an awareness, now you have a choice that you're conscious of. Weights and measures. You want a better life for your friend, your family, you want this, you want change, you want financial freedom, everything, but the majority of your decisions are going away from that. You deserve the life that you get. Everything. You deserve to have crappy relationships. You deserve to be broke. You deserve it because you're aware. You're not aware. Let me get you into this workshop. Read this book. Boom. Hey, I got it. It makes so much sense. Now, if you choose otherwise, you're at the destruction of your own life. So the awareness comes first. Then the choice comes. Then consistency after the choice. Because consistency is one of the highest forms of leadership. And then if you keep it simple like that, 30 days from now, your life will be completely different. Completely different.
Yeah.
But if you keep making the same choices, your life will be the same.
So, interesting we talk about this, but then we were talking yesterday at dinner about belief. Like
Yeah.
how does one, because that's really the bedrock of everything, right? If you don't believe it,
Yeah.
you can be aware, you can be all these things, but if you don't believe at the core of you that this is possible for yourself,
Yeah.
how can you then follow through?
Well, that's where faith comes into play. If you feel like there's a higher power out there, which all these plants are here, they just got here somehow. If you're not connected to something greater than just yourself, you're going to miss out on life. So if you can believe in something greater and launch yourself into it, you'll be exposed to a life that most people don't, because most people operate from fear. And I always wonder why there's only 2% wealthy in the world and the rest will die trying to figure it out. Well, how do we get it to 3%? The system is flawed. And so that's my mission, is to change the system. The system is flawed. It's not the people. It's the system that the people are coming into.
So how do you plan to do that? How do you plan to
It's
change
already
it?
happening. So through the workshops, through my book, and things like that.
Yep.
And as that continues to grow, as ABCs turns into words, turns into sentences, paragraphs, essays. Google started in the garage. They didn't start in the big boost. They had the division.
Yep.
But as my enterprise starts to grow, I'll eventually have a school. School has a system,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. So can you talk more about the Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life principle? Your book is coming out November 7th. And just the story behind that, because I felt that was very, very profound when you shared that on stage.
Yeah. So I was at a point in my life where, I tried to kill myself twice. I was 40 pounds overweight. I just couldn't seem to figure it out. I ruined all of my relationships. I messed up a relationship with me and my daughter. My girlfriend had just broke up with me. It was like, you name it. It was happening to me over and over. And I'm like, what's the point in living? And, I just remember, there's a time in my life where you say, oh, can it get any worse? And then it gets worse. And then I said, well, maybe I should stop saying it. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's not everyone else. Maybe it's me. And I can't change anyone else, but I can change me. And I remember saying that. And then I remember taking a nap, and I woke up, and it was raining. Someone had just broke into my car the day before, so I had my right side window busted out, and there was scotch tape and a white T-shirt, stopping the rain from coming in. And I remember I just yelled out as loud as I could, okay, I'm tired of fighting. I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. I want to be surrounded by nothing but positive people. I just want to inspire people. And I want to make a bunch of money, but I want the money to represent something that I passionately believe in, that I would do for free. Just show me a sign. And I'm just crying and crying and crying. A week later, I'm at the gas station with my last $2, and a homeless man comes up to me asking me for money. And I say, you have more money than me. And he said, change your mindset, change your life. And it wasn't just the words. Those words had an energy behind it that stopped me in my tracks. I never had a set of words that just made me think about life. And in that moment, I felt like my whole life was a lie. Change your mindset, change your life. So if my mind is set on something, then that's why the result is what it is. So if I do different with the same circumstance, my life will change. So I kept playing with it over and over and over. I'm like, change your mindset, change your life. Change your mindset, change your life. And I would get to some escalators, and I would like, change your mindset, change your life. Then I would do the stairs. Normally I would use gel soap, change your mindset, change your life. Then I would use bar soap. And I just kept doing the opposite. And I didn't know that I was forging new neural pathways in my brain, which was creating new habit just by default, just by me doing the opposite. I don't feel like doing this. Change your mindset, change your life. So I'm going to do it. To develop the muscle of getting out of the habitual nature that I grew up in my entire life. So at age 32, I started the Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life philosophy. 8 years of doing something different every single day has me 8 years removed from the guy who wanted to kill himself. So the opposite of somebody who is unhealthy, negative, wants to kill himself, broke, not loved, is someone who is loved, wealthy, wants to breathe life in the world, healthy as ever been, and I restored my life back.
Just like that. Just from doing the opposite every single day. So what had you commit to that consistently?
I saw results instantly. It don't take all day to recognize sunshine. I did the opposite and something different happens.
Right.
If you're walking down the street and then you make a left and then you get jumped. You walk down and you make a left and then you get jumped. You walk down, you keep walking down the same street, you get jumped. That's on you. You walk down, you make a right, and all of a sudden you find money. Walk around, make a right, you find money. There is going to be a difference. Every time I make a left, I get jumped. When I turn right, this thing happens. So I saw instantly, just by doing the opposite, different results were coming into my life. Well, I'd already built the pattern and the habit of doing the opposite. So having a string of results, new results in my life in 30 days that I did not have 30 days prior, I was like, what could another 30 days be like? And what could another 30 days be like? And the process of integration, they say it's 21 days to build a habit. It's not necessarily true. 66 days to actually install it and have it be integrated in your life to where it's just naturally a part of you. 21 days to be aware of it. And then another 40 something days to actually make it an extension of you.
So for you, it was the little micro commitments.
Yes.
Instead of just thinking about this big, like 66 days. But if you tell me, oh, if you keep doing this for 66 days, you're going to build this habit. That's like quite daunting, right? Like you got to start small.
Exactly. And I didn't know any of this stuff until I connected the dots going backwards. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's what happened.
Right. So what other things do you have to share with people? I mean, your book's coming out.
Yeah.
What other projects do you have on the horizon? What things are you excited about the most right now?
So my Change Your Mindset Youth Foundation, which is this exact same message, but actually in a format where children can understand, will be coming out in an app. So it's a lot of just like education, but they don't teach in school, but like in app format and things like that. So teaching kids how to actually know who they are, have a vision for their life, and things like that. So it will actually support less people being bullied because they're insecure and things like all these things like that. So that's a big project. So my Change Your Mindset Youth Foundation is launching 2020, and we're starting with the app, but it will turn into summer camps and all kind of fun stuff. There's that. Me and my wife, Blair, she will be doing a podcast because we realized that not a lot of powerful people in relationships that are generating at a high level in the world. Who's usually like the breadwinner and then the other one that is like more submissive. Yes. And we're both alphas and we both are submissive at times, and understanding that the dance and the polarity of being powerful in a relationship with your spouse. Didn't realize that so many couples wanted that.
Yes.
And I was like, damn. So we're going to be launching a podcast that has to do with that, which will eventually turn into a book. And so just all about just adding so much value to our planet and increasing, human productivity through increasing the awareness of teaching people how to own their own power and produce extraordinary results in their life.
Absolutely. That's such amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm really inspired by your message because I told you this in person. I said, I feel like I see part of my future self in you.
Yeah.
And you said to me, you can't be what you can't see.
Yeah.
So could you elaborate on that for the viewers?
So I remember I was a freshman in high school, and y'all don't have American football here, but you might be able to relate. The varsity, the people that are in 12th grade, they walk around with these jackets. They're given a jacket because they're on the varsity team and you get all these patches and everything, but you've got to be on varsity to get the jacket. When I was a freshman, I said, "What's that?" to somebody. They're like, "Oh, you got to be on varsity to get that jacket." And then I was like, "Well, how can I be on varsity?" They're like, "You got to be in 12th grade." And I'm like, "Well, how do I get it before 12th grade?" They was like, "You got to be just as good as them." That planted a seed. My other friend wanted to stay with the crowd. And I was like, how can I get just as good as them? I've got to practice a lot more. So during the summer when everybody was playing around, I was at summer camp practicing. Next year, I was on the varsity, got the jacket. How did you get the jacket? I became that good. But if I never would have saw that, I never would have worked that hard. I just needed to see it. So that's what the whole you can't be what you can't see. It's an example.
And is that what you feel like your passion is? Is why you strive so hard to be that example? For
to be the example of freedom, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. To be the example of what I perceive to be free. But I've spoken 63 countries in the last 3.5 years. Seems like a lot of other people resonate with that version of freedom too. So I was like, wow, if all these different nationalities, genders, just ages are relating, maybe that's something I should just keep talking about. So that's what I decided to do.
Just simply sharing your story, which is amazing, by the way. I mean, we've only scratched the surface. You've got so many different stories to tell.
I got all kinds of stories. So many stories. But the thing about it is, so do you, and so does everyone else. They just don't realize how valuable their life is. I've actually gone back to everything that has happened to me in the past and extracted why it happened. What was the lesson that I learned? What was the lesson? If there was a lesson that I learned and then I applied it, could it mean that I wouldn't have to learn the lesson over and over and over again? So that's how I was able to rewrite my past and create a whole new future by learning my past lessons.
Yes. And you applied it. When you teach through your stories, which I think is really refreshing. Like when you first opened your talk, you said, everyone hold your breath for as long as you can. And that really resonated with me because that's exactly what it is, right? Like if we're trying to breathe and we can't breathe, all we want to do is breathe. And that's the same way you view success. It's like with that urgency.
Yeah, and to deny the planet your real self does to the physical equivalent to your life the same thing as when you hold your breath and you feel it's like so you suffocate your own life by not being yourself.
That's deep. That's deep. Yeah, I feel that. Suffocate your own life, like, because that's really all it is, right? We're trying to just remove all the layers that society has conditioned us to believe that we should be like this. And if we're not like that, we feel like we're not enough, therefore we sabotage our results.
Right.
So it's all about just removing the layers to reveal the real you.
Yeah.
Right? And you've done that in your own life.
Yeah, and I'm constantly doing it. It's like, it's not one of those things where you get it and then all of a sudden you're good for life. I don't care who you are. Growth is going to hit you and you're going to get smacked in the face, but it all depends on how you respond to it. You know, learning how to be in a powerful relationship with my wife, that was difficult for me because I was always the powerful one.
Right.
So when it was like two people, I'm like, well, how do you do this? So hard. Learning how to be a better father, very difficult for me. So everybody has their stuff.
Yes.
Everybody has their stuff.
Yeah. I feel like we need to do a part 2 because we can go into that, you know, how you became a better father, how you became a better husband as well. You know, the man capable of attracting.
Well, it was all the same lesson.
Yeah.
Me becoming a better father was me becoming a better, because it was all the same. It was the feminine energy and understanding it and learning how to dance with the emotions of the women without my ego coming up or her ego coming up, and truly have it be its own space instead of trying to make it make sense according to my man brain.
Yeah.
Because you'll never give somebody creative space to be themselves if you try to make them be how you want them to be. That's not real love. You're trying to cookie cutter somebody. That's not real love. It's fake.
Yes.
But if you allow them to be who they are and you're not aligned, they weren't meant for your life. If they come into your life and shit just clicks, that's heaven sent. Don't try to force it.
That's where the heartbreak is, when people try to force it.
Yeah.
Like I've tried to change my
Ignore
partners in the
stuff.
past. Yeah.
Ignore stuff. Oh yeah, no, you'll pay the price.
Yeah.
Pay the price for 5 years. I wasted 5 years. Yes, you did. Now, go and get the lesson so it doesn't become another 5 years in another relationship.
And you said something about wherever you go, you can't outrun yourself.
No,
Like wherever
you
you
can't.
go, there you are.
Yeah.
You can't outrun the
You
truth.
can't.
You can't outrun yourself.
People be like, I break up with this man and go to the next one and attract the same kind of man. Or break up with this woman, go to the next one and attract the same kind of woman. Leave this job, go to the next one, and you got the same problems. You think the job or the man or the woman it's you. That's why when you change, magically, everything changes.
So when you changed, your mom changed.
Everything changes. It ain't something that you can have a perfect words for. Every time I tell her something, she just won't change. Well, yeah, you won't change. And people are responding to you. Your life is responding to you. If you're a victim, you will have a victim-ridden life. And that's why success doesn't come to most people. That's why money doesn't come to most people. Because most people don't even love themselves. No matter how much they try to make up or no matter how many muscles they get, it will never compensate for the fact that you don't love yourself.
And that's a whole other conversation.
Whole nother conversation.
So do you have any parting advice for people watching?
If it's not from the heart, you're going to steer yourself down the wrong avenue. What comes from the heart goes into the heart. Stay connected to your heart. Love is the most powerful frequency in the world.
Yes.
So if you're not coming from there, you make decisions that are not from there. If you're like, my heart is telling me this, but my mind is telling me this, and you go with your mind, you'll fuck yourself. But if your heart, you go with what's in your heart, and it takes you to a place that's difficult, you will be protected and guided through that, because that is what you were supposed to learn so that you can be strong enough for the next level of your life. Because it's coming from your heart, it's coming from a truth frequency, which is that is the vibration, the highest vibration is the vibration of truth.
100%. So where can people find out more about you?
Everywhere. Let's see. Instagram, so Garrain.Jones, Garrain.Jones. My website, GarrainJones.com. And my book will be out November 7th, so I'm really excited about that. Just to get this out to y'all. I'm self-publishing it, so anyway, like, you know, I do have just a big influence, but anybody that can support radio stations, TVs, like, I'm open for all of those different things just to spread this message out, and I'm excited for what we get to do on the planet. Don't forget to follow your dreams.
Awesome, man. Garrain, that's been amazing, man.
Yes,
Amazing.
sir.
Thank you for coming on.
Yep.
Appreciate you. All right, see you guys.